My stepmom wanted to control my life, including my spending habits, my relationships, and every decision I made, so I decided to give her exactly what she asked for. I was already 24 years old and living completely independently when my father married Laura 4 years ago, so naturally, I assumed her influence over my life would be minimal. At the wedding, she presented herself as reasonable, openly stating that she respected boundaries and understood that I was an adult who did not need a replacement parent in my life. For the first few months, she seemed pleasant. She blended into holiday dinners, asked polite questions, and made my father genuinely happy, which mattered to me. For about 5 months, things stayed calm. Sometimes we met for lunch. She asked about my role at the accounting firm and carefully avoided overstepping, which made me believe I had judged her correctly. However, everything shifted the moment I began dating Jax. Laura's attitude toward boundaries abruptly changed. She began offering unsolicited opinions, saying Jock's job with the fire department lacked long-term stability, that my apartment was too far from their home, and that my working hours made maintaining a healthy relationship unrealistic. Soon, those opinions turned into scheduled lectures. Twice a week, she called me to talk about relationship psychology, future planning, and what she believed a successful adult life should look like. When I casually mentioned wanting to adopt a cat, she emailed me more than 20 articles explaining how pets ruin young people financially. Every time I pushed back, my father minimized it with a shrug, telling me Laura was only trying to help. When Jox and I decided to move in together, things escalated rapidly. Laura completely lost control and called an emergency family meeting, where she gave an actual PowerPoint presentation detailing cohabitation failure rates, supported by statistics and studies. She had somehow created graphs outlining my spending habits, information she most likely gathered by repeatedly questioning my father. She also unveiled a detailed life roadmap showing where my life should be by the time I turned 30, a plan that notably excluded living with a partner. When I thanked her for the concern and calmly explained that Jax and I were confident in our decision, she told my father I was acting recklessly and needed intervention. That conversation triggered what she called daily accountability check-ins. Every morning at exactly 8, she texted asking what my plans were. If I failed to respond within an hour, she called my father, warning him that she was concerned about my well-being. She began appearing unannounced at my apartment, inspecting cleanliness, criticizing grocery choices, laundry timing, and household organization. Jag started calling her the warden. She then attempted to persuade me to change jobs and work in a company owned by her friend, claiming it would be better for my growth. But I realized it would allow her to monitor me more closely. When I refused, she crossed another line and called my employer directly to discuss my career path, which forced my boss to awkwardly address the situation with me, as it was becoming unprofessional and uncomfortable. Things reached a new level when my period was late and I foolishly confided in my father. Within hours, Laura arrived at my apartment carrying pregnancy tests, prenatal vitamins, and a family planning booklet. She told me I needed to be more responsible and even suggested she take charge of managing my birth control. That moment made it clear she no longer saw me as an adult, and that was my breaking point. After that moment, I knew I couldn't continue pretending this was concern rather than control, but I also knew that cutting her off abruptly would create a massive conflict with my father. So instead, I chose a different approach, one that would expose exactly how unreasonable her behavior was by following her rules to the extreme. She wanted daily updates, so I gave her constant updates. I began sending messages in real time, detailing every aspect of my day, the exact minute I woke up, how long I brushed my teeth, what toothpaste I used, whose shampoo I chose, how many minutes I spent in the shower, how my coffee was prepared, how much sugar I added, and what route I walked to my car. By the third day, she begged me to stop, saying it was overwhelming, but I reminded her that she wanted to be involved in my daily planning, since she cared so deeply about my finances. I started sending every single receipt, no matter how small: gum, parking meters, coffee, snacks, and then asked for her opinion on whether each purchase was appropriate. I called her repeatedly from grocery stores, asking which yogurt had the most probiotics, whether brand names were worth the cost, and if paper towels should be bought in bulk, until she stopped answering. When she once again suggested I take a job with her friend, I leaned fully into it. I scheduled the interview and called her every hour with updates, asking what outfit I should wear, how I should style my hair, and whether I should mention my college internship. I emailed her photos of 13 different outfits, and during the interview itself, I excused myself to call her and ask what salary expectations I should state. Later, her friend privately told her that I appeared unstable. Then, Laura escalated again by insisting Jax and I see a relationship counselor she personally knew. So, we agreed immediately and insisted Laura attend every session, since she believed she knew our relationship better than anyone. During the sessions, we would call on Laura for her opinions, until the counselor finally said involving a third party was unhealthy and explicitly warned Laura that this behavior was codependent and damaging. Her final power move came on my birthday, when I expected a normal dinner, but instead walked into a private room set up like a conference, complete with a projector, handouts, and a professional life coach hired to optimize my future. Folders with my name were placed on the table, filled with financial spreadsheets, relationship milestones, and career timelines. I realized Laura had turned my birthday into a full-scale intervention, so I decided to fully cooperate. I explained my daily routine in exhausting detail: my wake-up time, skincare order, clothing sequence, breakfast prep, cleaning structure, work file systems, spreadsheet methods, lunch timing, grocery scheduling, thermostat preferences, chore allocation, relationship decision-making, evening routines, weekend planning, and home item opinions until the atmosphere became painfully uncomfortable. The coach eventually stopped writing notes and pulled Laura aside, saying this was not a coaching situation but a control issue. My father finally spoke up, admitting he had avoided confronting Laura because her behavior exhausted him and promising to support my boundaries. Laura later appeared with a gift basket and a letter about respecting my autonomy, but immediately suggested scheduled check-ins. So I asked for space instead. She responded by secretly tracking my routines, compiling screenshots, schedules, and notes. Jox and I drafted firm boundaries, limiting contact, banning career, relationship, and schedule discussions, surprise visits, and employer contact. Laura tested those limits involved extended family and claimed concern for my mental health until my aunt revealed Laura had done the same thing to her years ago. Knowing this wasn't personal helped me hold firm. Months later, contact became limited. Interactions moved to neutral spaces. My father started therapy and learned to set his own boundaries. And for the first time, Laura began listening cautiously, correcting herself when offering advice. Life finally became quiet, peaceful, and stable. It is not the controlled life Laura envisioned for me, but it is a respectful one, and it is fully my own.